What's good, everybody? It's your boy Ty. I'm back with another episode of the Tyrone.tv sports vlog. I apologize for the little hiatus and a little delay with getting another one out to you guys, but I was a little bit under the weather and was working and stuff like that. So I had a little bit of trouble getting this out to you, but hey, I'm here. It's 6:35 a.m. where I'm at, and I'm here, dedicated, if you could say that, ready to give it to you the best way I know how. The way this episode is going to go, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Knicks. I'm going to talk about their current string they're on. They actually lost their last game to the Atlanta Hawks. Very disappointing loss. But mainly this vlog will be focused on the NFL. I'm going to talk about the Thanksgiving Day and night games that went down this past Thursday, and I'm also going to talk about the tomorrow's games, or actually later on tonight's games for me. And give you guys my picks for those games, and give a little, and not give too much analysis, because I didn't really do a big write up for these games, but I did definitely did one for the Bills game and what I think is going to take for them to win, and also for the Chiefs, and give you my picks for that, and also give you the picks for the other games. So let's get right to it. All right, first thing I'm going to talk about the Knicks. Disappointing loss. They lost to Atlanta this past Friday. It was a tough game to listen to. I actually listened to the game on the radio via TuneIn radio, and it was one of those games where the Knicks coming off a big win over the Toronto Raptors, a team that they hadn't beat in a long time. I think it's since 2015 or something like that was the last time they beat the Raptors. That was a tough game. That was the game against the Hawks was a tough game to listen to, because the Knicks were up huge in the first quarter. I believe they were up like 38-24, something like that, and they just let the game slip away from them in the end. Just one of those games where the Knicks, they go on the road. It's Thanksgiving, day after Thanksgiving, and just a tough game to listen to, and a tough game to listen to. So hopefully the Knicks can bounce back. I don't have the final score. I didn't put anything like that down in my notes. But basically it was a game where the Knicks led early. And then the Hawks basically took over in the second half and eventually won the game. So again, hopefully the Knicks will bounce back from it and pick it up in the next one. As far as the Sabres go, they had a huge win. I believe it was Friday night as well, over the Edmonton Oilers. They won 3-1. Should have been a shutout for Robin Leonard, but they let one in really late in the game. I think it was only like 17 seconds left in the game or something like that, and they let one in. So hopefully the Sabres can continue this run. Continue this run. I believe they played tonight, but I didn't get a chance to look at the score. So hopefully they won. But again, a little bit unprepared, but we'll take it where we can, and hopefully the Sabres will continue this good play going throughout the rest of the season and get back on track and get on that winning track. Right now they're currently last in the Atlantic Division, second to last in the league. So not a good start so far, but again, hopefully they'll pick it up and get things rolling. All right, now let's get into the NFL and let's talk about these Thanksgiving Day games. Now, as far as my picks went, I went 2-1 in the picks. Got the Chargers and Cowboys game wrong. Easily could have picked the Chargers, but I just figured that the Cowboys would have put up a better effort than they did, and I'm gonna get into that in a second. But first, I'm gonna talk about the Vikings and the Lions. I thought the game would be kind of a high scoring game. I thought that the Vikings would get out on top early. Force the Lions to get into kind of a little bit of a shootout. I picked the Vikings to win 31-21. The final score of the game was 30-23. So pretty much, on par with what my score was. But the thing was that it wasn't as close as the score would indicate. The Vikings held the Lions to 299 total yards. I'm sorry, 289 total yards in the game, and only 53 of those was rushing. And one of my keys to the game for the Lions, they had to get the running game going. They had to make sure Amir Abdullah, had a replication of the game that he had early in the year when he had 94 yards rushing on 20 carries and a touchdown against the Vikings. But he had nowhere near those numbers in this game. I don't have his exact numbers, but wasn't anywhere close to 94 yards clearly. And the Vikings got out to a 13-0 lead like that. I mean, they scored on their first drive. They did miss the extra point, but they got a touchdown to Kyle Rudolph, and then they got another score. I'm not sure who got the score on that one, but on the second score. But they got also a 13-0 lead, so Detroit was kind of forced to abandon the run game, and that was the key. They had to ensure that they didn't get into a shootout. They didn't get into one of these matchups with the Vikings where the Vikings were able to utilize all their weapons. Primarily in the past game, Adam Thielen again had a really solid game. And of course, the Latavius Murray had a good game. Kyle Rudolph had 2 touchdowns, and Case Keenum is leading his team. He's leading his team. And again, like I said, he deserves to be the starter at this point. I don't see any reason why, feeling a catastrophic, slump on his part where they lose three or four games in a row and he's throwing 2 or 3 picks in each game. I don't see a reason why the Vikings should replace him with Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, I get it. Bridgewater was a quarterback before he went down. Guys shouldn't lose their jobs because of injury, things of that nature, but I think that's the old NFL. I think right now, if you go with the hot hand, you go with the guy who's playing the best, and clearly Case Keenum is playing the best football that can possibly come out of the quarterback position. Given the fact that he was a third string quarterback, let's not forget. And Sam Bradford. There you go, Sam Bradford. I always slip up his name for some reason, but Sam Bradford was a starter coming into the season. He was a starter. He won the job out of preseason, and he was leading the team. He had a really good game the first game of the year, and I believe after the second game he got injured. It was when his knee injury reoccurred, which is very unfortunate, and I wish him all the best, of course. But just given the whole just given the whole trajectory of how the season has gone, Case Keenum wasn't even supposed to be a factor in the Viking season this year, but he has taken over. He's come in, done a amazing job in leading the offense and leading the team, and he deserves to be the starter. If again, like I said, if he failing a catastrophic collapse on his part in his play, which I don't see happening, but if it does happen, then you might give Bridgewater the nod. But he deserves, Case Keenum at this point deserves to be the starter, and until the Vikings slip up, whether it's during the regular season or at some point during the playoffs, you got to give him the nod, and you got to give him his props. So much props to Case Keenum on a huge win by Detroit. All right, the next game, the Chargers and the Cowboys. Wow, I didn't see this one. I mean, I didn't see this one coming, honestly. I had the Cowboys winning this game 20-17, but Cowboys were completely outplayed in this game. They had no answer for Phillip Rivers and the Chargers passing game. They lose this game 28-6. It should have been more than that, but the Chargers place kicker Nick Novak was injured early in the game, so they had to go to basically going for 2-point conversions, and also I think at one point they kicked an extra point with their backup kicker, who's like tight end or a linebacker or something. Yeah, it was just complete fiasco after he went down. With that said, though, the Chargers offense picked the team up completely, and the defense, was dominant against the Cowboys. I mean, the Chargers outgained the Cowboys 515 yards to 247. And Philip Rivers had 434 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. So all that stuff I said about Rivers in these past vlogs, I'm still gonna stick with it. I mean, this Cowboys team is not a good pass defense team. And also, they're missing a lot of key players. But Rivers did the job. He did what he was supposed to do. Go in, beat a lesser team, got the ball to Keenan Allen, who had 11 catches for 172 yards and a touchdown. So, but again, like I'm still not sold on the Chargers. I'm not gonna say, oh, now they're they're a great team, they're gonna playoff team, whatever. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna go that route. As of yet. When they win, when they get to 500 and then they get beyond that, when they're 7-6, 8-6, then you can make an argument for them. But for right now, they're playing a lot of bad teams, or they're playing a lot of bad or poorly managed teams, and yes, they're getting the victories they're supposed to against the Bills, for one, and now against the Cowboys. But let's see how they do the rest of the season. That's what I want to see. I'm not gonna make a judgment about them. That's opposite of what I've said previously until I see a much better, much broader body of work. So good win by the Chargers, but again, let's see how the rest of the season goes, and we'll take it from there. All right, Giants and Redskins, ugly game. The Giants actually was able to tie this game up with an interception return by Janoris Jenkins. It was tremendous corner. He's probably their best player on their team at this point, now that Odell Beckham has been out for the year. Made an interception return in that one, but the Skins eventually prevailed. They won 20-10. Ugly game. I didn't get to see the game. I'm not even going to bother to watch the game, to be honest with you. Not much offense in this game until the very end. But the Skins, they were able to come out on top. Despite all the issues with with turnover, penalties, sacks, and all that happened early in the game, they were able to come out on top. They beat a lesser opponent. Giants are now 2-9 on the year. What a disastrous year for the Giants. They were 11-5 last year. A lot of hope, a lot of optimism coming into the year for them, but it's just not happening for them. So, but again, the Redskins get a huge victory on Thursday night. They were able to stay in the playoff hunt and stay in that. So hopefully, this will continue on for the Redskins going into the rest of the season. All right, now let's get into the Sunday games. Of course, the first game I'm going to talk about is the Bills game against the Kansas City Chiefs. It is a 4:00 game, but I'm going to talk about this game first because, again, I rep the Bills and they're my team. So, I'm not very optimistic about this game. I'm just going to be very transparent with you. I get it. Tyrod's back in the fold, but he should be the starting quarterback. Nathan Peterman is not the answer right now. He's a 5th-round draft pick. He is someone who was not on a lot of people's radar coming into the year. Regardless of whether the Bills finish, if they finish 11-5 or 10-6, or they finish 5-11 or 6-10, Tyrod needs to be behind center in the rest of these games because Peterman is clearly not ready to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. I mean, that's just, That's common sense, and I don't know, I don't get to see the inner trappings, inner workings of the Bills practices week by week, and how he's, leading the second team. I'm assuming is what he does. Maybe he leads them well, but he's not ready to lead a number one offense in the in a regular season NFL game. He's just not ready. So let sleeping dogs lie. Leave Tyrod in there for the duration of the season, and just call it, how it was initially called, a lost season, a season in transition, and go from there. The Bills completely blunder this whole idea of putting Peterman in there, because I truly think that the Chargers game was a winnable game had Tyrod Taylor been in there. Okay, the Chargers were the beneficiary of turnovers and in field position. Okay, two things Tyrod Taylor excels in, and not turning the football over and not putting the defense in a bad position. But now that the Bills are, now 5-5, they're out of they're right now out of the playoff picture at this point. And they're now facing a tough opponent in the Kansas City Chiefs, who are also coming off of a loss against the Giants, a bad loss on their part. They're gonna want to play. They're gonna be at their highest level. In the game last week against the Chargers for the Bills was a game that they needed to have going into this game. Okay, you're going on the road against a Chiefs team that's very, very talented, very tough team to play. If the Bills had won the Chargers game, guess what? You got a little bit of a leeway to lose this game and then come back next week and win against a lesser opponent. But now this is a must-win game for the Bills. If they lose this game, they're done. Period. I hate to say it, but the way the AFC is stacked up this year, with the Chargers playing better, and they've lost a game to the Chargers, so now they're basically a game behind them. And then you got, you got the Titans, you got even the Texans, are still in it, for the most part, and they're a more talented team than the Bills are at this point, even with Tom Savage in at quarterback. Okay, you still got you still got a lot of teams still in the mix, for the playoffs. So this is a must-win game for the Bills. If they don't win this game, they're done. And I might as well stop talking about them, but I'm not going to do that. But this is a must-win game for the Bills. And with that said, if Tyrod can avoid, taking sacks, and, he gets outside the pocket, get him out of the pocket. I don't understand why the Bills don't utilize his athleticism the way they should. Okay? Get him out of the pocket. Let him improvise. Let him make some plays downfield, and try to get the ball into the hands of playmakers. Now, Charles Clay looks like he's going to be out this game again, okay? And Kelvin Benjamin's going to be out this game as well. So that means Zay Jones, Deontay Thompson, Nick O'Leary, of course, Shady. These guys got to step up. These guys have to step up, and they got to play. They got to play better. Basically, they got to help out Tyrod. They got to get open. They got to do what they have to do in order to help Tyrod excel in this offense. So that's the key right there. And again, and if Shady McCoy, if he can run against this defense, which is not the best run defense, not one of the better run defenses in the league, if he can get out and have a big game, maybe that'll help the Bills out on offensive side. As far as the defense go, they got to force turnovers. They got to get back to forcing turnovers. Get some strips. Strip the ball out of the hands of Kareem Hunt, because I know this is going to be a heavy Kareem Hunt game, given the troubles that the Bills' running game has had recently. They're gonna be relying on him. So try to gang tackle this guy, rip the ball out, do what you got to do in order to force some turnovers. Force Alex Smith, to make some, to make some mistakes. When these guys get in a third down, whether it's 3rd and 3, whether it's 3rd and 5, whether it's 3rd and 7, send some blitzes out this guy. Okay, get him uncomfortable throwing to his receivers. Okay, make some force some get some pressure on him. So that way you can try to force some turnovers, get some picks, and help the offense out. That's going to be the key for the Bills. As far as Kansas City, if they get out to an early lead in this game, it's over. Period. If the Chiefs score in their first drive, if they score a touchdown in their first drive, maybe get a field goal or a touchdown in their second drive or second or third drive, and the Bills don't score, the game is going to be over because the Bills do not play well coming from behind. So it's going to take the Chiefs. It's going to be concerted effort on their part to get out to an early lead and make things happen early. If they can do that, they'll win this game, period, point blank. And the way to do that is to get Kareem Hunt in the game early. You got to give him the ball early. You got to feed him the ball. He's the second leading rusher in the AFC right now, or maybe in the NFL. I think he might be the second leading rusher in the AFC, but I think it might also be the NFL. And he's got 873 yards through their first 10 games, which is pretty remarkable. Okay, if they get him involved early and he's successful, the Bills will be in trouble. Okay, and if Alex Smith gets back to playing efficient, mistake-free football, then the Bills have no chance in this game. And I kind of see, in the Kansas City's defense, if they can force some turnovers, I don't know. I think Tyrod is up for the challenge as far as taking care of the football, or as far as throwing interceptions. But maybe if they can get some fumbles via pass rush, get some hit some guys downfield, get some strips. Maybe the Kansas City Chiefs can take advantage of that. And also Kansas City special teams. Great special teams play so far this year from them. So that may end up being a key for them and a turning point in this game for them. With that said, I got the Chiefs winning this game. I think the Chiefs are a better team. I'm not, I love my Bills. I love, my hometown, and I love the way they, I love them. But they're not a good football team right now. They're not playing well. They're not coached well. I really think that's the thing here. I think a lot of the onus is being put on the offense when you have to really consider the inept play of the defense recently. What's being done about that? Nothing. They let Marcel Darius go, which I kind of understand, with regard to all the immaturity and all the nonsense that he brought to the team. But with that said, you bench Tyrod because you say, oh, well, the quarterback play's not been good. But what are you doing about the defense? What moves are you going to make on the defensive side of football to make them play better? What's Leslie Frazier doing? Great defensive coordinator, a guy who has led teams, has done a tremendous job with other teams. But what are you guys doing to make the defense play better? Because the defense was the strength of this team. Let's not forget, when the season started, everybody was talking about the Bills' defense. Nobody was talking about the offense. Nobody cared about what the offense was doing. A lot of the points that were being put up was by the defense. So let's get back to some perspective here. But in this game, I don't see it happening. I see the Chiefs winning this game 26-17, sending the Bills to 5-6. Maybe the Bills can, I don't see them winning out after this game. They got New England twice, and they play the Dolphins, and you play the Dolphins twice. I mean, they never beat those teams twice in the season. It just hasn't had. I mean, I think the last time they beat the Dolphins twice in a year was 2 years ago. And they haven't beaten the Patriots. They haven't swept the Patriots probably since the last time they were in the playoffs. which I don't even think that was when it was. I think it was probably when Jim Kelly was still the quarterback of the Bills. So that's that tells a story there. So the Bills need this game, but I don't see them winning it. I see them going down 26-17. But we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll, maybe a miracle will happen. All right, let's go on to the rest of the games. And I'm not gonna talk too much about these games. Just gonna give you my pick and kind of keep it moving and get this done. So Tampa and Atlanta. Atlanta's playing a lot better. Tampa's also playing better, but this is a home game for Atlanta. The Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's got to play efficiently. He's got to hang in the pocket and not let the Falcons, that pass rush, man, that pass rush for Atlanta is really, really coming on. So he's got to make some plays downfield. And in Tampa's defense, they got to make Matt Ryan uncomfortable, but the Falcons' offensive line is playing a lot better now. So I see the Falcons winning this game, though. I think they'll win it 27-21. It'll be a close game, but I think in the end, Atlanta will pull it out via Matt Ryan and Julio Jones making some plays downfield. So we'll see how it goes. All right, Cleveland and Cincinnati. So this game, I see the Cleveland Browns getting their first win in this game. I think that the Cincinnati Bengals offense is atrocious right now. They're not playing well. Andy Dalton, he does an admirable job, but he is not an elite quarterback. And I think that the Cleveland Browns their run defense is playing tremendous, and Cincinnati, I think that if they can take away the factor of Andy Dalton and I'm trying to I'm trying not to forget people's names anymore, but AJ Green, my man AJ Green, they can take that factor out of the game. Cincinnati has no shot in this game. So I think this will be a low-scoring game, and I think the Browns are going to get their first win. It'll be 13-10 Browns. All right, next game, Tennessee and in the Colts. Again, this is going to be one of those games where it's going to be kind of a back and forth sort of ordeal. I think Mariota is going to make more plays. He's going to make some plays with his feet, make a few more plays in the passing game than Jacoby Brissett at this point. And I think the Titans defense will slow down the Colts for the most part. And I got the Titans winning this one 21-17. All right, next game. Dolphins at Patriots. Yeah, this is going to be a long day for the Dolphins. You got Matt Moore starting for the Dolphins. No Jay Cutler, which I think is better, honestly, for the Dolphins. I mean, I know you got a lot of people out there that love Jay Cutler. I'm not a fan of his game, at all. I was actually glad when the Dolphins picked him up because I thought that the Bills would have a much better chance of beating Jay Cutler than they would Ryan Tannehill or Matt Moore. But Matt Moore's going to start this game. I think the Dolphins will hang in this game. A lot of people are picking this game kind of a blowout sort of scenario, but I think they'll stick in this game. But I think in the end, the Patriots will put up more points. I think Tom Brady's got this team, rolling. Bill Belichick and the guys, they got the Patriots on a roll. So their offense is rolling definitely. Their defense still a little bit of suspect. That's why I think this game will be a little bit closer and a bit more scoring in this game than a lot of people will anticipate. But I think the Pats will win this game 38-17 or 38-27. I have this game to get the Patriots to 9-2. All right, next game. Panthers and the Jets. The Panthers again. They're one of those NFC teams that are just rolling right now. You got to put them up there with the Saints, the Rams, the Eagles, and the Vikings. You got to put them up there with those other four teams. I think the Panthers have a well-balanced offense now that they got the running game rolling with McCaffrey and Jonathan Stewart and the like. And then you got Greg Olsen coming back from injury, who's going to help out Cam Newton in the passing game. And then, Cam is also got, his receivers, Devin Funchess and those guys. So I think the Jets are going to be, blown out in this game for the most part. I don't see the Jets hanging around too long with the Panthers. I think the Panthers are going to win this game 34-17. So we'll see how it goes. All right. Chicago at Philly. Again, this is another game that I kind of see, kind of a blowout sort of scenario. The Eagles are rolling right now. Carson Wentz is front runner for MVP right now. In my opinion, Tom Brady's probably 1B in that scenario. But I think the Eagles are gonna win this game convincingly. I think the game will be a 30-13 Eagles win. All right, next game, Seahawks at the 49ers. Seahawks coming off a tough loss against the Falcons, a game that, for all intents, Atlanta took advantage of the fact that, the Seahawks are kind of a shell of their old selves as far as their defense goes. The lack of the depth and the talent that they have in the secondary was kind of shown through in the last game. With that said, though, the 49ers don't have the talent. And of course, they don't have the quarterback that the Falcons have. You got C.J. Beathard back there, and the clock is ticking on when Jimmy Garoppolo is going to actually get in there and start and get ready to start for the 49ers. I mean, it's got to be at some point during this year. I mean, you can't get an acquisition like that and let them just sit on the bench. I get it. The 49ers aren't going to be in the playoffs this year. But if you're gonna stick with this coaching staff and with this philosophy as far as their offense goes, you have to get Garoppolo some reps and get him in there to basically to familiarize himself with the offense and with the personnel that they have. Maybe they figure, we're not going to have the same personnel next year, but who knows? You don't know until it happens. So for right now, the 49ers got to make a decision. They're going to stick with C.J. Beathard the rest of this year, or is Jimmy Garoppolo just going to be standing on the sideline chilling? And what it's looking like, Beathard's going to be the guy. So I don't agree with that, but it is what it is. I'm not an NFL coach or a general manager. I'm just a guy, just giving my opinion on the NFL. So we'll see how it goes. But in this game, the 49ers are going to go to 1-10, I think, and the Seahawks will prevail 33-17 to stay in the thick of the NFC playoff race. All right. Next game is the Broncos at the Raiders. Broncos are really having a tough year. A lot of turmoil. They're flip-flopping quarterbacks. Their legendary quarterback John Elway, who's now an executive for the team, is calling the team soft and saying all kinds of stuff. Just tough year for the Broncos, and they had a lot of promise coming into the year, predicated on their defense, but their defense has really let them down this year, and it's not been a good year all around for the Broncos, and I think it continues this week. I think the Raiders will get back into the playoff hunt with a 21-20 close victory in Oakland. Give the Oakland Raiders fans something to cheer about. And much love to you guys. You guys are going to lose your team, but, as a Bills fan, a guy who had that threatened for years and years, the Bills leaving, it's got to be a tough situation for fans of Oakland. Maybe they'll get down to Vegas and watch some games, but it's going to be hard to watch the Raiders after this, leaving the state of California and going to Las Vegas, which is one of my old stomping grounds, a place I used to live at. I lived there for 4.5 years. Do I think pro teams belong in Las Vegas? Personally, I don't think so. I really don't. I really don't think it's the best place for any professional team. I mean, I know the hockey team, the Golden Knights, they're doing well there, and they built an arena for them and all that. But I think Las Vegas is a destination city. It should be a place where the Super Bowl is hosted. Absolutely, absolutely, positively. But they had to build a stadium. Can't have a Super Bowl at Sam Boyd Stadium. I used to actually live near Sam Boyd Stadium, and that place was a dump. So unless they rebuilt that and built some stuff around it, you really couldn't host a Super Bowl there. But congratulations to Las Vegas, the city of Las Vegas. They got they're gonna have two pro teams within. They got one now with the hockey team. They're gonna have an NFL team in the next couple years. So congratulations to them. But me personally, I don't think an NFL team or any professional team belongs there. I do think it is a destination city, and one that professional teams should just stay out of personally. But that's just my opinion. All right, let's keep it moving. The Saints and the Rams. This is going to be a huge, huge game. Big matchup. Should be a very entertaining game. But I have the Rams winning this one. A lot of people are picking the Saints, but I'm going to go with the Rams in this one. I think after last week, going to Minnesota, getting the loss there, that's a tough place to play. I don't think there's too many teams, with the exception maybe the Patriots and maybe the Eagles, could go in there and win a game in Minnesota. That is a very tough team to play, and a very tough place to play. With that tremendous fan base up in Minneapolis. But I think the Rams are going to bounce back in this one. The Saints they're set up for a bit of a slip up here. They're playing great football, but they were down the last game. They could have easily lost the last game against the Redskins. And if they get down to the Rams, then they'll lose this game. And I really can see the Rams getting out to a fast start. Maybe getting a turnover or two, and and then using Todd Gurley, in the run game and in the pass game. Now Robert Woods is out for this game with a shoulder injury, so so Jared Goff will be down one of his weapons. But I think Sammy Watkins will make an appearance in this game, and I think Cooper Kupp will step up in Robert Woods' place, and I think he'll also have a big game. So I see this as a high scoring game. I think the Rams will prevail though, 34-31. So we'll see how it goes. All right. Last of the 4 o'clock games, you got Jacksonville going to Arizona. That's gonna be a tough. I think the Jags are gonna have a tough go here going out to Arizona. Arizona, they're 4-6. They're trying to stay in the playoff mix, and I think with a win, they will indeed do that. And I think they're going to get the win here. I think the Jaguars are in for a bit of a letdown in this game. They haven't been playing, lights out in the previous couple of games. They had a close win against the Chargers that went into overtime, with a Phillip Rivers, interception. And then against Cleveland, they could have easily lost that game. If Cleveland had kept, taking care of the football and not made so many mistakes, I mean, that's a big if, because they are a team that's predicated on turning the football over. But with that said, the Jaguars have been a beneficiary of a lot of bad play by the opposing team, and I think that the Cardinals have really good corners. They got a really good secondary, with Patrick Peterson and the Honey Badger, and they got some weapons on offense too. They got Larry Fitzgerald and the like. So I think the Cardinals will come out on top in this one. A home game for them. Jacksonville going across country to play the Cardinals. I see them slipping up in this game. So I got the Cards winning this one 22-17. All right, Sunday night. Packers and the Steelers. This is going to be a tough one for the Pack. The Pack, they've been having some issues on offense. with Brett Hundley and the like. And I can see it continuing against a much improved defense by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Personally, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are the best team in the AFC right now. I mean, I know I get it. The Patriots are, flying high and all that. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have a much more balanced team right now than the Patriots do. They got the better play. They got more talent. They're playing better defensively. Overall throughout the entire year, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense has been playing really well. The Patriots, just in the last maybe 6 games or so, has started to pick up their defense. So again, it's a season of it's a marathon and not a race. I get that. But with that said, I think the Steelers are the better team at this point. And I think that they're going to continue that role, get to 9-2. So I got them winning this game 31-14 over the Pack. And finally, the Monday night game. You got the Texans at the Ravens. A lot of people like the Ravens in this one. I don't. I think the Texans are gonna win this game. I think the Texans have more talent on the offensive side of the football. I think DeAndre Hopkins is gonna have a huge game in this game. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Ravens secondary, they're really good," blah blah blah. But last week, DeAndre Hopkins was going against one of the best secondaries in the league and one of the best corners in the league, and Patrick Peterson, and had a pretty decent game receiving. And I don't think the Ravens have anyone that measures up to Patrick Peterson. So, I can see, the Ravens maybe getting out to an early lead in this one and holding on in the end. I don't think the Ravens, with Joe Flacco and the guys that he has on the offensive side of the football, are explosive at all, and I don't think they have the capability to come back in a game where they'll be down, a touchdown or two. So I see the Texans winning this one 21-14 to get back into the playoff mix again at 5-6. So we'll see how it goes. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. I'm done. I want to thank you again. I appreciate all the love, all the support. If you have any questions, you have any comments, have anything you want to say, please leave a message. I'm gonna leave my social media information and all that in the description box, so you can hit me up. Also, make sure you check out the actual blog site of mine, which is Tyrone.tv. All right, y'all. Take care. Enjoy the games tomorrow, and I hope you had a good holiday week. All right, y'all. Take care. Peace.